Good morning from Yummy BTV, wishing you all well. Of course, right, sometimes I get pissed off with all this social media lark, I've got to be perfectly honest. But I am, on request, going to give my opinion and take on the interview about Darren G, right? Look, everyone is entitled to tell their stories. These are what our platforms are for, right? Misused in the wrong way could cause harm to many, but also the individual being interviewed themselves. I say on this one, it probably does the young lady more harm than it does good. Now, Darren G's criminal past as being an ex-criminal, most of those things that were suggested regarding that are already out there. Darren G confesses to certain things. I believe throughout my history in the Category A prison system that on one of those such occasions, not the case with Willie and that, I don't know too much about that, but on other ones, I believe he didn't have too much choice in some of the things that I said about him, but it's my opinion. Now, the problem that I had with this is for any child involved in anything, you might be scared of comeuppance and things like that. But nothing should ever take precedent over your children, all right? Whether mum, dad are having difficulties, are traumatized, are vulnerable themselves, you would really put your life on offer for your children if anything untoward was happening to them, right? For all the names that Darren G has ever been called in his whole lifetime, there's never been no suggestion of being a sex offender of some kind. And if there was so much hate for him, so much love for Darren G, there would have been many allegations, I suggest, where people could get at him that way. There, it doesn't seem quite feasible to me, but after all, I wasn't there. But even if you're coming out now and you go on podcasts and you're saying this kind of stuff, you have to make sure that it's substantiated with a little bit of fact, because you could put your self in a position where you could be being asked by questions by the police as well. It will be very hurtful for Darren G, who's just lost another channel, of course, on TikTok. I suggest, that you maybe give him a little bit more support. He's lost so many channels over the years. He could have had 1 million followers on everything by now, Darren G. Look, Darren G came out of prison. During them times in prison, I'm absolutely certain that you couldn't have naked photographs of women, right? And it seems ludicrous that Darren G would be showing photos of naked women. He was having an affair with a woman for a long time in prison as well, right? For what reasoning? There doesn't seem to be any suggestion that he did anything that's been suggested that appropriately touched her or, groomed her. So what would have been the purpose? I'm scratching my head for showing photographs. I'm not laughing in that way, but I do find this a bit strange. Some of the parts of the interview, in my opinion, were a little bit inconsistent, but again, trauma, vulnerability, memory, losses and times and places and that kind of stuff. But I don't see what Darren G would have got out of doing that if he didn't have taken it a stage further. But that's just my opinion, right? Some of you are going to run at me and go, yeah, but he's this. I'm not talking about his criminal past. I'm talking about factual evidence when serious allegations are being made here. Undoubtedly, Darren would have to take action. It's a real sad, it's family in some kind of way, which, makes it, there's a lot of trouble. All of us with families, there's been so much mix up over the years. But no, you ask me, I have never ever heard of anything anybody suggests. Everybody gets called grasses and nonsense online and that kind of stuff without really much evidence to go with it. It's just a name calling thing. But when you sit up on TV and you're bringing up past, especially with possible historic stuff, all right, you could go and do it now and go and report. Again, it does you more harm than good, because a lot of traumatized people involved in this, by bringing things up without substantiating evidence. All right. So on this one, right, I'm entitled to my opinion. I am sticking up for Darren G on that aspect of things and all that. All right. So that's the best that I can do on that. On that score there, with that subject matter, I can't see what good it's brought for anybody. All right. I'll be up in a little bit.